the agriculture has been one of the least digitized, and there is, especially the pervasive how this mobile connectivity has really spread or uh, become available even in remote areas. That actually is a big what do you call icebreaker into bringing this connectivity to all these remote areas. And the smartphones that it's like a tremendous computing power in your hand, that really enables us to bring some very, very, very innovative solutions that you could think about and come about. And so that's how so many things that converged. And if you could apply this to one of the like I said, the fundamentals of human existence, that food and agriculture, and with a large population that is working on agriculture, nothing more is rewarding and important. And of course, it also makes a huge business sense, because there's a huge amount of scale, and there's a very, very limited. So far, it has been, like I said, least digitized or very nascent stage. So the opportunity is very big. So it's not only social purpose that led, but to be commercially viable. An average smallholder farmer holds 2 hectares and is illiterate to semi-literate. Okay. So to bring these sophisticated technologies to that level, you neither have sophistication nor the scale. So you need to create both. How do you create scale? I mean, the scale you can create by aggregating the farmers. Okay. So farmer cooperatives, producer companies, or agri businesses coming and doing some contract farming, and then hand-holding the farmers. So the sophistication comes from you have a cooperative management. Actually, at a aggregated level, they're applying this. So there is also economics of using technology. Okay, it economizes also, as well as if agribusiness is hand-holding a group of farmers, they have this knowledge and some sophistication, and if they can apply it a larger mass of farmers, it makes possible a lot of things. For example, I mean, it creates a bargaining power for the cooperative and farmers when you're dealing with input buyers, when you're dealing with market outside markets, and it also helps them negotiate with this. The small farmer is overwhelmed negotiating with all these external entities, right from inputs to finance to finding the right market. But as a aggregation with you have a critical mass, then you can do things that otherwise are not possible. Most of the places we operate, the connectivity is even today, 90% of the population have phones, but the connectivity is still a challenge. You go to a village, even Africa, India, probably in the village you get it, just go a little outskirts, you may not have connectivity even today. And imagine we started working in this area about 7 years back. So the challenges are all the mobile applications will be built, like you said, sitting in Kuala Lumpur, Boston, or New Delhi, writing mobile app is one thing, but you have to write such a way that people assume that you don't have connectivity, but still you should be able to operate. And the other fourth challenge is the language. I mean, we take it for granted when you see smartphones and all that floating around. Hey, everybody knows English, or at least some sophisticated French, Spanish type of. But no, that's not true. You need to be able to bring it down to the local language. So we support 16, 17 different local languages, especially on the mobile application. So the pandemic really caused so much disruption to just about every aspect of our lives and businesses, right, as a human. But one thing important is everybody needs food. and food needs to be supplied, processed, distributed to reach the consumer. So it is the one thing that happened during the pandemic is everybody, like sitting in Boston, we were worried how to get our food. Never ever thought that was going to be an issue. So in these aspects, one thing, there are systems that are who existed because of the physical movement restriction and all that became very, very, very challenging. So nothing more became important at this time is how do you communicate and process and without meeting in person. So people like our solutions became very paramount important in supporting this. Okay, so while so many businesses suffering, actually we got some emergency basis the number of projects that we could deploy, or even in the process of deploying now, to not only the organization trying to communicate and give the extension service to the farmers who didn't have a proper digital tools they wanted to deploy. Another thing is the market. The farmers had a tough time in physically going to the markets, and so they were able to basically digitally sell. So there's a sudden spike in the need for some type of market linkage from farmers directly to the consumers or retailers. So there is a greater and increased need for digitization as a whole, and that is we are right now deploying on an emergency basis some of our existing customers and new customers our tools. Food has to flow, so the only way to do it is how do you minimize the physical interaction, right? The goods have to flow, but everything else around it, the people, the processes and all that. So there's a greater need for digitizing and communicating, streamlining, leveraging the latest technologies, sophisticated supply chain models. So that is what I think we can see. And then this consciousness about food safety, all those things will help basically some level of digitization demands it created. Yeah.